A TV Estadão recebe hoje um convidado internacional, o roqueiro inglês Graham Bonnet, que está aqui no Brasil para alguns shows. Graham, thank you very much for being here. Hoje é o dia 7 de julho, por coincidência, um dia triste para a música, o dia do enterro do Michael Jackson. Queria começar essa entrevista perguntando o que você acha do Michael Jackson.
Well, I mean, he was, as I was saying, he's kind of like one of a kind. He was like Elvis, and just like the Beatles, he was innovative, he was very inventive, and it's such a sad thing for a guy to be 50 years old and die, you know, and he was rehearsing really well and getting back in shape and everything, and I mean, that is the news of today, is all about Michael Jackson all over the world, and I was just turned on CNN before I came here, CNN, and I saw where the funeral procession was driving from is near where I live in Los Angeles, and it was sort of made me feel very sad, and you know, he's somebody who'll be terribly missed, you know, because he was a special person. And when I saw Mariah Carey sing "You and I Must Make a Back," and her voice cracked, it was a very sad moment, you know, because I don't think anybody who are singers there today will be able to sing because of the emotion that will take away from their singing voice.
Você já fez um show aqui no Brasil, em Santos, com essa banda brasileira. Queria saber sua opinião sobre a banda, como é que foi o show?
Yeah, well, we only had like one rehearsal, a very quick rehearsal, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be like a disaster from my part as well as their. You know, it's going to be a train wreck. You know, something's going to go wrong. Somebody's going to die on stage. Somebody's going to break a leg or something. But it turned out the gig turned out it was very, very good. We had it was only a small gig. It was only like 500 people or something, but the place they sold out 500, and there were people outside also. So it was like a rehearsal with an audience. But the band played very, very well. I was very excited. It was a very hot night, and they played great. I was so happy with them, and I just.
Você já tocou em grandes bandas como o Alcatrazz, o Michael Schenker Group e o Rainbow, claro, que é a mais famosa. É verdade que o Alcatrazz está voltando com um nome diferente, Alcatrazz, Graham Bonnet's Alcatrazz?
Yes. In a short answer, yes. Well, it's going to be when I go back home. We've got I think we have about 8 songs all ready to go, but I have some other work to do when I go home, and so do the guys in the band. We're doing a thing for a cartoon movie at the moment. It's like a fantasy movie. I'm doing some songs. It's about like mermaids and unicorns and creatures or something. I'm not quite sure what the movie's about, but that's some work I have to do when I get home. But we're ready to go with all the brand new Alcatrazz stuff. In fact, Russ Ballard, who wrote Since You've Been Gone, you know, that was like a hit for Rainbow, I got on the phone with him about 3 months ago, and I said, would you be interested in writing a song just for my band, for Alcatrazz, as a, you know, like old home week, you know, old boys getting together again, you know, the true dinosaurs, you know. Hey Russ, how you doing, buddy? You okay? Yeah, I'm getting old though now, Graham. Yeah, I know, it's horrible, isn't it? How do you feel about writing a song that's something that isn't 2008, 2009, make something modern, 2012, write a song like that. Let's write a song that's not like 1980s, since you've been gone, something more progressive and more interesting. So he wrote, I spoke to him maybe 3 times on the phone. We went through each part of the song on the phone, and it's called My Kingdom Come. That is the title of the song.
E você já tocou com grandes guitarristas, o Yngwie Malmsteen e o Steve Vai no Alcatrazz, o Michael Schenker, do Michael Schenker Group, e o Ritchie Blackmore, claro, no Rainbow. Como você teve essa sorte de tocar com guitarristas tão bons, e qual que era o melhor deles?
Okay, well, they were all different. I mean, the first time I ever played any heavy metal, so-called heavy metal at the time, was with Ritchie Blackmore. I had no idea what that kind of music was about. And so he taught me how to get into the feeling of that kind of music, because I was into kind of R&B music and pop music more than, you know, screaming and yelling and doing all this. And I thought I was the wrong guy for the band. But he convinced me I was right. I had the short hair, and everybody else had spandex pants and long hair and flowing robes. After I did the audition with them, I did a song called Mistreated. They said, you want the job? It's yours. So I went back to London, and I wasn't sure that I was the right guy because I didn't look right, for instance. But it introduced me to a whole new kind of music. And he's one of my favorite guitar players ever. And then, of course, later on, I wanted a band of my own that was pretty much like a Rainbow thing, and that's when Yngwie came along, and somebody told me about it.
He was really young, right?
Yeah, he was 19, I think. Yeah, no, 20, because I remember we celebrated his 21st birthday party. And he got this call from us, and he thought it was a joke. You know, he thought, no. He said, no, what, Graham wants me to sing, to play with his band, you know, because he was a big fan of Rainbow, and Ritchie, obviously. And then he came along, he played just like Ritchie Blackmore, just as well. He looked like Ritchie Blackmore, you know, so it was like Rainbow Mark II, you know. So, and we didn't have a name at the time, but we didn't have Alcatrazz. So he came along, and he actually, I could see what was going to happen. He was going to become the star of the band, and that's what happened. He was convinced by people, you know, from outer circles looking in, going, "Hey, Yngwie, you don't need these guys. You should go off on your own. Be like Jimi Hendrix, you know, go do your own thing." And of course, he eventually left the band, and then Steve Vai came along, who had just been playing with Frank Zappa, and he was a totally different player, and more my kind of player. To be honest with you, he was much more inventive and a little different. Had a very unique style, and I think that album that I did with Steve, when we wrote songs together, I think were the best songs I've ever written. Steve would say to me, "What's this? What note is that?" I said, "I don't know. What is it?" He said, "That's an E." I said, "What's this?" "That's an F." I said, "How do you know all that?" He said, "Well, Frank taught me how to hear every sound in the world has a note. It's music, everything, even stamp on the floor, all has a note." I've spoken to Steve a few years ago, and he said, "You know what my favorite album is? The one that you and I did together with the Alcatrazz band."
Graham Bonnet, muito obrigado por vir aqui. Nos vemos no show.
Thank you. It's been good, hasn't it?